Greetings to all. Today we will discuss traditions in this video and fasting. We will briefly go over this intriguing subject. Since the dawn of time, in almost all cultures, traditions, a practice that consistently comes back with three clear intentions. When discussing fasting in ancient times, without these, scholars understanding the science, these civilizations, however, the three components of fasting as recognized by the ancients through traditions and prophets were always three things. The idea of cleansing, the notion of inner change, and reconnection with oneself, these were truly the points that emerged from sacred texts. However, they had something much more profound than that. It was specifically observing the living world. The ancient customs observed sick animals that stopped eating. They watched the natural cycles, rest, deprivation, and abundance. In the Bible, we find concepts related to fasting, the 40 days in the wilderness of Moses. He did not eat bread or drink water. This is recorded in Exodus 34:28. This isn't by chance. He retreats, eliminates distractions, and enters an altered state of awareness. Jesus, 40 days in the desert, before beginning his mission, after fasting for 40 days, he felt hunger. It's referenced in Matthew 4, chapter 2. We see this concept of isolation, minimalism, and inner transformation that fasting offers. An essential point also in Isaiah 58, everything that has biblical reference. Fasting is shown as a personal act, transforming one's actions, getting rid of the excesses we hold, acting with awareness and fairness. In Islam, there is Ramadan, the daily fasting, lasting 30 days. It's a type of dry fast, temporary during the day. Of course, we reference in the Quran, fasting has been prescribed for you so that you may attain piety. This is verse 283 of the Quran. These ideas present three goals: discipline, purification, and self-mastery. But also to slow down, to become aware, to break free from automatism and routines. In Eastern traditions, there are frequent fasts and ascetic practices. We also find concepts in yoga. The term tapas is the term that stands out. It's about a voluntary discipline to change the body and mind, including ideas from Buddha himself, who underwent extreme fasting before understanding that excess was not the path. The middle way is always what counts. The main idea behind fasting purifications was always about mastering the body, calm the mind, calm the mental state. In historical figures, Mahatma Gandhi, who fasted a lot, he used it as a political tool, a spiritual means, a personal means. Fasting, he always said, is the truest way to cleanse oneself. He had this understanding. Closer to home, although Hippocrates once stated, when a person is unwell, the best thing to do can sometimes be to avoid food. He believed in the idea of soul rest and digestive relaxation. The para-self is the force that heals a person as they are. So if we allow for rest, a person is capable of healing themselves. The ancients grasped this. They had no knowledge of biochemistry or hormones. There's nothing related to metabolism, nothing concerning the intestines. However, they were truly engaged in observation. They knew that when we stopped eating, we took a break, we entered fasting, the body itself began to change. The mind starts changing, behavior shifts, so there's an instant improvement. It's a return to oneself, a retreat. It's one of the best ways to treat depression today. We've received a lot of feedback on this. Those with anxiety, depression, burnout, and tiredness, who can no longer in their lives take a break, find calm for a number of days, in a structure where they can also unwind with safety, kindness, and love around them. We still have additional things that are there to enhance each person in their lives, in their inner conduct, in their mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. The Hoshians understood that the body is not passive, the body adapts, the body compensates, the body optimizes functions. They understood that deficiency isn't always a problem, yet it can genuinely act as a signal for adapting, improving our flexibility and adjustment. And it is one of the keys to health. What science explains today is the metabolic shift. When we stop eating, glucose decreases, insulin decreases, so we address all diseases. There is a bit of instability, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, and so on. All that pertains to metabolic diseases, hypertension, etc. Thus, we genuinely have a healing effect on any existing pathology, inflammatory, immune, and so forth. This isn't the subject of today. I will discuss the benefits. Therefore, we move from a storage state to a usage state, destocking and regeneration. So this mechanism was vital in human evolution. Thus, autophagy is the key principle of fasting, recycling and elimination of dysfunctions, enhancing cell performance, and subsequently regenerating through stem cells. I remind you that this is a Nobel Prize in Medicine from 2016, Yoshinori Osumi. There's nothing mystical about this. It's a natural functional regulation of the body. This is ketosis, hence the brain. We get into this state again, burning fat, beta oxidation, so we see the effects when we are in this state. We immediately have stable energy. We have fewer glycemic fluctuations that lead to all health problems. We feel a sense of inner calm. We transition from relying on external sources like carbohydrates and sugars to a state of inner independence, where the body utilizes the fuel we have at our disposal freely. The reason fasting is a great method for treating anxiety, because sugar leads to constant highs and lows in blood sugar, creating a yo-yo effect in stimulation. We have an excess of information in our society today. We have insulin spikes and energy fluctuations leading to instability. If you search on the PubMed search engine, for instance, what does excess insulin and hyperglycemia lead to in terms of pathology? You can find out how many pathologies are caused by hyperinsulinemia. It's quite significant. Fasting stabilizes everything. Body and mind, mental, spiritual, less fluctuation, a stable energy is present. Also observed during the pause in digestion, we genuinely experience a rest, a revival. on the digestive tissues. Next, assimilation and redistribution happen better. There is indeed a therapeutic, curative impact on chronic conditions, which is truly of primary level, but very little studied, very little known today. This is quite unfortunate. There are few doctors who are truly interested in using fasting. Dry fasting, we hardly talk about it. If you were to count those who do this worldwide, you could do it with one hand. There are very few. Hospitals for dry fasting do not exist. There are none. There should be hospitals everywhere that master this method. Perhaps one day in the future it will happen. There might be a doctor who will care to develop this to start clinics. It should be a common mastered practice worldwide. It might happen one day, not sure, it may never happen. We are present. We are among the rare centers that offer holistic treatments. We work on the human at different levels. We have cultivated expertise in food recovery, in both physical and mental clearing during fasting. We offer programs that are always full and complete whenever we set it up. There's a real demand. People arrive, no problem. We don't have to seek anyone out. We do very little advertising. You have the only information on this YouTube channel. You don't have other broadcasting channels for dry fasting. There is only this channel that is easy and doesn't take much work. Let's get back to the main topic. As long as we take this break, we achieve calmness, clarity, and stability. Dry fasting is the most advanced version. You have the ketogenic diet if we follow the order. You may have people on juice diets. After that, you have water fasting and the full royal fast. This is dry fasting. It's the most developed fasting. It's the one that leads the body to greater adaptations, more responses, and more repairs. It's the most effective fasting in physiological, metabolic, and immune aspects that results in the most repairs. He is the toughest, he brings the most repairs, but he is also the most delicate, requiring precise follow-up to avoid errors, because if we make mistakes, I know we can pay a heavy price. Some people have sadly burned their wings. They did not implement what was necessary. There are codes. We do not do just anything. I repeat, there is knowledge in my 2 books. You have the masterclass. Those who can attend, do attend. There are 4 of us on the staff. It is starting to become very advanced. A whole structure has been established, thought out, and designed so that you can be in better comfort. To go far in sexual fasting without suffering the martyrdom by doing sexual fasting under the best conditions possible. We have set things up. It is always evolving. There are always changes. We are evolving too. The ancients understood all this. They practiced sexual fasting in their own way. They did not have... The ancients understood all of that. They practiced dry fasting in their own way. They didn't have the knowledge, but they were aware. That fasting was a truly formidable method to bring people back to balance and cleanse them, to renew them in a way that was understood at that time. Dry fasting brings about a profound depth to one, a challenge that comes during the process, but later you feel this joy, this bliss. When you come off a dry fast, there's a before and an after. You truly have this relief. You value water more than ever. You have gone without it for X days. the vital source for humanity, which is water. I can promise you will savor every drop of water you drink. It turns into a wonderful pleasure. Why did ancient people fast? Well, the concept of purification, certainly, but also to lighten the system and manage excesses, to escape from overindulgence. And then the notion of discipline. In a dry fast, the fast forces you not to give in, to observe your urges, to regain self-control. When you're breaking a dry fast, the key is not to overindulge in food, but to truly focus on channeling your intake. It brings about a great deal of stability, resilience, clarity. So when you remove elements from food, distractions, all that, you are faced with yourself. Even what many avoid today is overconsumption, whether it is the media, social media, all that. Dry fasting leads to a molting period, a release, a return to you. We should all implement this, in any case, during a certain time of the year, that is clear. That's why we invite people to come regularly. Roughly 30 to 40% of people come back every year because they realize we need to maintain ourselves like a car, and it's obvious. To have a cleanse every year to clean the body, regenerate, working on anti-aging. Dry fasting is currently one of the best anti-aging methods. There's no need to inject tons of products. Your body knows how to do it. It's intelligent and can cleanse and regenerate itself if we let it. So there you go. We live in an increasingly more, we eat everything all the time, 5 or 10 times a day. We can eat, there's no problem. There are no restrictions. We consume constantly. Always stimulation all the time. Dry fasting is the opposite. It slows, it simplifies, it creates a saving void. In that emptiness, the body adjusts and finds stability. It takes a break, allowing for the development of creativity, of intuition, and it calls for a new path in life. We use dry fasting a lot as a springboard for change, to be able to bring new things into your life, to get rid of the old, the ancient that you no longer want, and to genuinely reset our physical, mental, and spiritual selves. To conclude, every tradition has practiced fasting. It's not by chance. The body adjusts, the spirit calms, and humans evolve. Since always, fasting has been known for ages. It's not something I just make up. Fasting does not create something new. It simply removes what hinders the body from doing what it already knows. I'll see you soon for the next video.